Live weather.
Now, 80% of people feel confident they can recognise a scam, but only 1 in 4 actually then checks a company out before handing over money. That is according to the Financial Conduct Authority, which is launching a new company checker tool. The idea is this tool will help you check if a financial services business is genuine and, importantly, if it's authorised before you actually hand over any money. Let's talk to Dominic Cashman, which is a very useful name for this, Dominic, who's Director of Authorisations for the FCA. Thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just explain then what this new company checker tool is and what problem you see it as solving.
So our research shows that about 700,000 people a year might be losing money to investment scams. And the best way that they could protect themselves from losing money is to make sure that they're dealing with a firm that's authorised by us. So we've launched a new tool. It's a quick, easy way to be able to check if that firm is authorised and if it's authorised to do the thing that you want to do. And as you say, we've launched a new advertising campaign to let people know that and hopefully remind them in a fun way.
It is a fun way, isn't it? It's got a sort of cartoon animation kind of vibe.
It has. It's our friend Emil the Seal.
I just wanted you to say it. Okay, I mean, I'm all for talking about scams. It's clearly, people perhaps overestimate their ability to spot a scam. Just explain, though, how your tool, how does it avoid a business, well, a scammer, rather, pretending to be a legitimate business and fooling people that way and therefore perhaps making people feel even more confident handing their money over to criminals?
So first of all, this tool will highlight where we know about firms that are pretending to be other firms. So that will come up. That will come up on the tool. But also, if you're feeling nervous that the person the firm is not the person, you can use the contact details which are on our tool, and they will be the correct contact details for the firm.
Okay, but there are plenty of examples, aren't there, of scammers weaponizing legitimate companies, creating clones of them, coming across as incredibly plausible versions of those businesses. Will this solve that issue?
It may not solve all of that issue. We do see incredibly sophisticated scams out there, but it will help a lot of people and it will cut off a lot of those scams.
Now, I moonlight for another BBC programme, Moneybox Live, and so I talk about scams quite a lot. I've been talking to people who've lost substantial amounts of money through investment scams recently, and what's really stood out to me is a change in scams and kind of how scams work. We're seeing more kind of long-term grooming of victims. Sometimes it's rather brutally called a pig butchering scam, where somebody is kind of fattened, groomed over many, many months, and then huge amounts of money taken from them at the last minute. And one person I spoke to recently who'd fallen victim to a crypto investment scam, he was being told by the criminal to ignore the warnings from his bank. He had been groomed so successfully, and he was not a stupid person. He had been so successfully groomed that he was being told to subvert the security measures that should have protected him. Are we moving into a much more sophisticated kind of scam environment now, where people are groomed for longer and then lose more substantial amounts of money? And it's really hard to tackle that with a simple online tool.
It is hard to tackle that with a tool, but it's not the only thing that we're doing to tackle that. But part of it is encouraging people to really think carefully before they make investments, to check at the early stages before they get into the grooming cycle, and also to ask themselves, what there are behaviours that can indicate that it is a scam. Are people trying to create a sense of urgency, or does it just seem too good to be true?
I mean, those are always important things to kind of flag up, so that sense of urgency. But we do see that as well with, I suppose, lots of legitimate or more legitimate selling opportunities. What about, Dominic, AI and the use of kind of deep fakes and clones of people? Because I've spoken to other people who've lost money because they watched a video that looked like Keir Starmer saying, "Quick, invest your money in this." That is the kind of thing that is really sophisticated, really difficult to tackle, and maybe needs more aggressive policing before it actually reaches the consumer, rather than giving the consumer a tool and saying, oh, remember to go and check that?
I think it's going to need a whole system response to be able to address things like those. We are working with the police. We need the tech companies to step up, and perhaps also to use AI to be able to filter out some of the inappropriate stuff that we see on social media. The tool is giving people something that they can do now that will help now, and there are other things that we're doing to address the wider problems.
Is there a risk of false negatives with your tool? Because I imagine it could be incredibly damaging for a legitimate firm's reputation if it got incorrectly labelled. Who's doing the labelling? Who's checking out these companies?
So we are checking out all of the companies that are authorised. Every authorised company checks every year the details that we hold on them and that they are correct. So we work extremely hard at the accuracy of our data. I couldn't guarantee that there wouldn't be a very small number of problems, but any firm who thinks there is a problem should contact us, and we'll work really hard to fix it very quickly.
Dominic Cashman from the FCA, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rachel, I'm going to squeeze in a quick question to you here before we go to the news, because we're sort of talking about individuals and scams, but I know that as a business, it's something that you've had to be quite cautious of.
Honestly, it is continual. And I think that you have to make sure that everyone in your team is fully trained. And just a quick warning, because it's personal tax payment week, there's lots of scams, and it happened to us before on the 31st, or this week, it'll be today or tomorrow, because they'll pretend that they're your bank and that the money that you're trying to pay to somebody's paying HMRC out of and it all seems so legitimate. So watch out for anything that mentions HMRC. And yes, training within all your team, because it can happen somebody quite junior can accidentally do something, and that is absolutely traumatizing for them personally. So yeah, it is terrible. I think this FCA tool sounds a brilliant thing to add to in-house training.
Great. Well, useful to get your perspective on that. And of course, scammers quite often, they use what's in the news to kind of make their scams fresh and 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 make their scams